All right, Snapshots hockey podcast listeners, welcome to this week's episode of Snapshots. This is Andrew Trimble. As always, our podcast is sponsored by Mr. Lemon Wax, the finest wax for your hockey grip and tact and feel. Remember to grip it and rip it with Mr. Lemon Wax. And also, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Make sure you're checking out their website and joining a huddle today. So today's topic of Snapshots, we're going to talk about bench behavior, body language, and subtle cues that scouts, coaches, and recruiters are looking at for your player when they're performing on the ice. Now, obviously, they're looking at the overall skill set when their feet touch the ice. Are they looking at, can he skate at the level? Can he handle the puck and make good decisions with the puck? Is your player someone who is assertive? You know, when they get in the offensive zone, they're looking to make a play instead of, tentative or intimidated to trust in their abilities. Or is your player, a penalty machine? Does he take a ton of penalties out there? They're looking at things that are obvious to the eye, but really good scouts and recruiters are looking at the other differences within that player. And oftentimes those are the biggest differentiators between a player who's going to play in college or who's going to play more recreationally, and certainly when you go to the NHL, that is the creme de la creme, and only the best make it to that level. So body language, segment number one here, body language is communication. Every player communicates, not just with words, but with posture and facial expressions, their effort, their energy. We all know that kid. Who gets on the ice and their shoulders are slumped, their head's looking down at the ice, and we know that they're not ready to play, that they're not fully engaged as some of those other kids who are chest out, eyes up, attentive, stick on the ice, ready to make a play. Now, you notice mistakes a lot more with some of those types of kids because they slam their stick, they go back to the bench, you can see them shaking their head. It becomes obvious that they made a play on the ice that they're not proud of, that they're not happy with. Oftentimes when I'm looking at the game, I'm looking at, did he put himself in position to get the puck, to make a play there? It doesn't really matter if it doesn't work out. I mean, mistakes happen all the time. But you don't want to be that player who doesn't put themselves in good positions to score. Now, even the best NHL players score 1 out of every 5 shots. So you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to put every puck in the back of the net. Have confidence in the next play, because we notice oftentimes your language after the play is made, success or failure. Studies in sports psychology have found that nonverbal communication can account for a majority of how emotional states are perceived by others. Your teammates see body language before they hear your words. Think about that, players. If you want to be a leader on your team, your kids are looking to you because you're a top player. But if you're reacting negatively all the time, it's influencing the team in a negative way. What coaches notice? Players think coaches only evaluate performance. Just like we talked about in the very first intro, coaches notice how you respond to mistakes, how you respond in adversity, how you respond in losing games when you're maybe not up and having success and you got to dig down and fight back. Are you pointing fingers? Or you taking responsibility? Those things are important. It's important to think about the research on athletic resilience, on grit. Athletic resilience shows that emotional regulation is strongly associated with performance under pressure. So players who perform in the playoffs or players who perform in big moments, they have good emotional regulation. They're not going to get down when their team needs them most. Leadership from the bench. Now, this is important because, oftentimes I've seen this with some of the teams that I've coached at the junior level. Every kid wants to be the captain, but now suddenly when they become captain or got a letter on their shirt, they become a different person. You were voted as captain or chose by your coach to be a captain based upon the person that you are. Don't change. Don't become something that you're not. Don't become something different than what got you to there in the first place. They want to see players that stay engaged or encouraging to their teammates, focused on the next opportunity, and whose body language gives confidence to the group. One of my favorite videos is a 15, 20-second clip of Evgeny Malkin. He misses an open net during a Pittsburgh Penguins game. And as he's way on back to the bench and Sidney Crosby's coming back to the bench, Crosby can hear some of his other teammates kind of being like, oh, man, Gino missed the net there. And he's like, hey, guys, I think he knows. And that's his first words out of his mouth. I think he knows. We'll get him next time. And that is one of the great examples of leadership, because it's exactly right. The game is 60 minutes long. If you're focused on the mistake that's made in the first 2 or 3 seconds of the game, or even with the 5 minutes to go in the third, you're going to miss out on opportunities down the road. Stay mentally engaged, stay mentally focused, and be sharp. Now, for parents watching, don't just ask about goals and assists. That's oftentimes how it creates that pressure. Every kid knows that the more they score, the better opportunities they're going to have. And that really shows them, obviously, that they had a good game. But it's all the other parts of the game. How was your attitude? How did you respond to adversity? When you took a penalty here, did you criticize the ref? Or did you just own up to it, sit in the box, and encourage your teammates on the penalty kill? Those questions develop character. How were you as a teammate? And character often drives long-term success. 3 things coaches notice when evaluating players besides skill. This is something to put on your mental focus as you go into next season. Number 1, obviously the skill, we've talked about that. That's the first thing we notice. But beyond that, we look for body language, compete level, number 2, and then coachability. These are great parts of the overall performance in a player. Skill gets attention, character earns opportunity. If I have a choice between a super skilled kid who has terrible body language and doesn't compete all the time, or a somewhat lesser skilled kid who's extremely coachable and a good teammate, sign me up. I'll take that kid any day of the week, because that coachability in the long run will give him more tools that he can work with. Remember, your next shift starts on the bench. Your body language affects your teammates. So those 2 things, if you are a complete player, know that means you're a complete player on the ice, but also on the bench. And if you want to be on good teams and be a big integral part of good teams, then your body language has to represent that. Thanks for tuning in, fans. This podcast is growing. It's getting more subscribers, followers each and every week. So make sure you follow and subscribe. Check out my content on my Substack, Andrew Trimble. It's the Hockey Development Hub. Also check out the Hockey Focus. That's a great resource for a ton of information and articles that are published every single week. I have a number of new books out with Amazon. Those are great to pick up. I'm really proud of our latest one, Beyond the Scoreboard. It's a lot of great stories, just like we're having on this podcast. And don't hesitate to check out www.scoringconcepts.com. That's my camp and clinic business, or unbiased opinions 24/7 from the AI Hockey Advisor. Check them out. Love to get your feedback following this podcast, and never hesitate to reach out to me with any questions. Looking forward to the next one.